What's up everybody, welcome back to another Heroclix video. We are in the Primes portion of the War of the Realms set review for competitive play. I have 3 figures here of the 4 for the Primes that we're going to look at. I'm not going to go over the Throg because realistically there are so many more options that you can play aside from him, because if you're going to go the animal route, there's still Alyoshan Bronze, and then there's High Evolutionary in Modern and Silver. And if you're not going to play either of those, there's also Destroyer, but which we'll get to. So we're going to skip that. We're going to look at Wrecker, Gamora, and the Destroyer. So let's start with the Wrecker first. So number 43B, 75 points. Masters of Evil team ability, Brute, Frightful 4, Masters of Evil, Wrecking Crew keywords. He has improved movement, destroy blocking. He's got 7 clicks with a stop click on the back, reducers all the way through. He goes from invuln to imperv, and then it's a stop imperv regen. And then he has Meet My Wrecking Crew. That's the trait. The bystanders on this card are Wrecking Crew. Free, generate a Wrecking Crew bystander that hasn't already been generated this game. Once per turn per character, whenever Wrecker or a Wrecking Crew bystander destroys a wall or a square of blocking terrain closer to an opponent's starting area than your own starting area, gain 1 mission point. That can add up really quick if they're playing a bunch of barriers, or if you're playing on an indoor map with a bunch of walls. So let's look at this guy just on his own. Attack values are amazing. 11s and 12s all the way. He even goes to a 13 on the back with Close Combat Expert. He has Sidestep, Charge, Flurry, and then he has 18s and 17s, and then his damage is 3-4, 3-4 all the way, with the last 2 being Close Combat Expert, Leadership before that. So this guy is a beat stick up close. Of course, his charge is later on, so you'll have to get him up close before he can attack. But really, the main thing is the bystanders on his card. So note that it's a free, which means you can carry him, he can move, and then he can free make these guys. He can make Bulldozer, Piledriver, Thunderball. Bulldozer is a 10-10-17-3 with Charge and Imperv. And then Piledriver is a 8-10-18-3 with Flurry and Invuln. And Thunderball is an 8-9-18-2 with Outwit. So he's the weakest one when it comes to, just straight up attacking, because he has the lowest attack value and lowest damage value. However, he has Outwit. But because they all have the Masters of Evil team ability, when they're all close next to each other and they're attacking, they're going to give -1 defense to the defender. So they're essentially attacking with like a +2, +1 or +2 attack. They all have the destroy blocking on movement. So teams that play barrier, like Molecule Man or Zero Ring or just Proteus, things like that, where they're trying to stop you from getting inside, all you have to do is run up there with Wrecker, make these guys, and then just run through it. And what's even better with Bulldozer is he has charge. So he can just charge right through all the blocking, clear it out, and then attack, and then you'll get mission points. So that's the other thing, right? The mission points, if you combine this with other types of mission points, I think it's pretty easy, if especially on the right map, because it says you gain 1 mission point whenever they destroy a wall or a square of blocking terrain closer to an opponent's starting area, which you'll do because they're an aggressive team, so they're going to be up close. Gain 1 mission point. So you can get like 3 or 4 really quickly in 1 turn, and then he can, and then the other guys can do it too. So you can rack it up pretty quickly, and then if you add other types of mission point wins conditions, then you can get to that 20, I think, fairly quickly. Provided they're playing barrier or you're playing on the right map. Either way, we're always looking at the being able to attack after you're carried, and this case you can, because Wrecker can do that. So it's kind of like Jason Wingard. But Wrecker can also attack because, you know, he's a more than a capable attacker. Especially when he gets to that mid dial when he's doing 4 damage with charge. Ooh, that's crazy. But of course, he should be doing that because he's a prime, right? 75 points. You know, that's probably in the upper echelon of what you got. But this guy's definitely solid if you're going to be looking at a team that can kind of alpha strike. If you're playing like a, you know, overdrive team or some kind of taxi team that runs all the way up there. This is definitely one of those you can look at. And remember, you can also combine these with the legacy card guys too, because they also break stuff. And they're also hard to kill. Alright, now let's look at Gamora, number 47B. This is the super rare prime. 7 range, 3 bolts. The Guardians team ability, police team ability, 125 points or 60. So the 125 point dial is 7 clicks, the 60 is only 4. We could look at both because I think they have both have merits. Keywords: Asgardian, Battleworld Asgard, Battleworld Other, Guardians of the Galaxy, Police Warrior. That's awesome because if you're going to be playing Silver or Bronze, there is Sheriff Strange now, who's a real thing. And he's Battleworld Other, so he can +2 perplex this person. You know, there are a lot of other Battleworld people too. You can also Doom. She can also go on a Doom team because he gets all the keywords. There's God Emperor Doom, by the way. Okay. She has 2 traits. The first one is the deadliest Thor in Battleworld. When Gamora targets more than one character with an attack, instead of dividing the damage, she may deal her printed damage value to each target. Wow. Okay. So note that because charge and close combat now, you can attack multiple people with her 3 bolts. She can do 3 or 4 damage to each person. And if you're going to be playing her at the 60 point dial, it's exploit. So she's going to be dealing 3 penetrating with the charge, right? 11 attacks, pretty solid. Now, if you want, she can also just shoot because she has 7 range. So if she's shooting 3 people, she's also doing 3 to each. Of course, she does not have the penetrating attack because it's going to... She only has blades, I think. Or, I'm sorry, it's not even blades. She doesn't have exploit. But on the top click, she'll be doing 4 to each person, which is solid. But if they all have reducers, it's not quite as strong because they're probably going to be taking 2 each as opposed to 3 each, right? But she is coming in with a 13 for 5 with that charge, right? Long dial too. Okay, and then the other trait, crack the case wide open. Once per turn, when an opposing character within 4 squares makes an attack, give Gamora an evidence token. Free. Remove 2 evidence tokens to place Gamora adjacent to an opposing character within 4 squares and then make an attack. So this is like a different version of the crack the case trait, but that all the Thor core people have in from this Battleworld set. Note that it's only once per turn that she gets a token. I think for them it's whenever they attack they just get them, and it's the same thing. It's free remove 2, but the old one was free remove 2 and they make an attack. This is remove 2 and then she ports over and then she makes an attack. So that's even better, of course, because she's a prime. Now the attack power, which she has for the first 4 clicks, and on the top click for the 60 point dial, it's lightning channeled through Godslayer. When Gamora targets a single character with an attack, they can't use defensive powers. Okay, so if you're playing her at the top dial and she charges one person for 13 for 5, and let's say she has an object, she's doing 13 for 6, they can't use defensive powers, so she's basically one-shotting anyone. Someone like Blackheart's dead. So anybody that has a 6 clicks with a stop click on the back, they're all dead. And note that you have to, which is kind of cool, and this is what I like about pieces like this where you kind of have to make choices. You can either decide to hit one person for your full damage with no defense, or you can split the damage between multiple people. So that decides, you know, you actually have to think or decide whether or not you want them to use their defensive powers or you just want to deal as much damage as possible. Because you could potentially deal, 12 damage on the top click or 9 on the 60 point dial with penetrating if it's close. And then she has a defensive power on the first 4 clicks. or the first click on the 60-point dial. Maintain battle world's borders with an assassin's touch. Combat reflexes improve. So that's already good. Of course, you know, with the amount of penetrating attacks on the 60-point dial, she's most likely going to go down relatively quickly because there's a lot of 4 damage penetrating attacks that people could do. Like someone like Sky Tyrant, anybody with a power gem with any kind of penetrating, whether it's a pen blast or exploit, she's going to go down in one shot. So 60 points, you're paying less than half, but you risk her dying. Okay. Now at the 125 points, it's much harder to kill her, which means you could give her maybe some kind of steel energy or something that she can heal when she attacks, so that she can maintain her. You know, she can just survive. Now, a couple things what's interesting to note that you can do is you could give her flurry. So when she charges, she's flurrying for a lot, right? Like you give her Doc Ock arms, and on the top click, she's going to be charge 3 bolts for 4 damage to 3 different people, and then you could do it again. And then on the low dial, she'd do exploit for 3. Basically, you're doing what, 18 damage, 9 twice. Or you can give her something like Mjolnir, because she has 7 range, which is pretty good, and you can bump it up with either Perplex or Shield. And when she charges, she can still do her thing. She charges, but now she uses her range for close combat attacks. So if Mjolnir, she can charge 5 and then do a close combat up to 7 away, which might be good too, because then you know, at the 60-point dial, you want to use the exploit. Or if you just want to hit one person, you're just, you know, not going to have anything, no defense. And as a support piece later on, if she lives, she has PD, police, so she can give them minus to their defense for shooters that are next to her. And of course, the Guardian's team ability means you're not going to perplex her down, which is cool. She does have, you know, obviously she's a close combat piece, just charge in and flurry right away. So that's what I'm saying. If you give her something like Soul Gem and she's on the Flurry Blades click, she can heal 2 right back up if you're playing on the 125. So I think she's a solid piece. You could play her both. I just would worry that if you were playing at the 60 points slot, that she dies relatively quickly. You know, as long as she can get her shot in before, I think that's okay. But it's gonna be hard pressed with the amount of like Flurry exploit pieces out there. Okay, now moving on to the last one, which I think this guy's nuts. Okay, so the super rare Prime number 53B, the Destroyer. All right, 10 clicks, great stats all the way down. It's basically the same, right? It's sidestep all the way through, pen blast all the way through, imperv, and then close combat all the way through. He's a giant, 10 range. Okay, movement, destroy blocking, already good. Now, we're not looking at this person to be playing. We're not looking at this piece to be played on the main force because it's 100 points and you really want to use the sideline active effect. And this is, let's take a look at it. Guardian of Odin's Treasure Vault. Sideline active. If the destroyer is on your sideline and an opposing character damages a friendly character with an attack, if either character is equipped, after resolutions, give the destroyer a secret token and roll a d6, adding the number of secret tokens to the result. On a 6+, you generate the destroyer from your sideline in a square along the edge of the map on the same row or column of an equipped character, then remove all secret tokens and turn the destroyer's dial to click X, where X is the number of secret tokens removed. If the destroyer started the game via this trait, when it takes damage, return it to sideline. Protect the pulse wave. Okay. So, there is a potential to just get this guy out right away on turn 2 or even turn 1 if they come hit you, and he can come out on click 1 and he's gonna be hard to kill because hard to damage because he's at 19. All right, there's a lot of equipment being played right now, and I don't think that's gonna change anytime soon because the Disney Plus set has a bunch of new equipment. And if you're going to be playing silver, bronze, there's a bunch of equipment. And especially in bronze, you also have entities. So note that the equipment, not relics. So if you're playing bronze, it's not going to trigger on relics. Now, with Sky Tyrant being like the attacker of choice, he normally is going to be flurrying, you know, with the attack, which means this guy will trigger twice, which means you have 2 rolls to get this guy out. Which means that after the first time he hits, you'll get a Seeker token, and then you'll roll a d6 on a 6+, whatever. So if you roll a 5, you add 1 to that, which equals 6. Now he comes out. Now if you miss that and he hits a second time afterwards, you can roll, and now he has a 4 through 6, and he'll just come out and click 2, which is still solid, or even click through, whatever. The point is, there's a lot of chances for this guy to come out, especially when you see a lot of people nowadays just start with, well, in the new set, if people are going to be playing them, they're just going to start with the object. So someone like Wonder Woman, who just starts the shifting focus, she just starts with an object, and she damages someone when she attacks. This guy can just come out. He's doing an 11 attack for 4 damage, 19 defense, and he's a giant, which means the next turn he can willpower out of it. Of course, you can outwit him, and all you need to do is damage him, and he leaves. It's just, you know, if he comes out and click 1 or 2, you're gonna have to do like 8 damage to him right away. That's really hard, and he just leaves, which means someone can, you know, he can come in again. You would have to really play. You have to now, because of this guy, you'd have to really think whether or not it's worth playing whatever prime you want to play on your team, because this guy is really good as your sideline piece that just comes in almost all the time. So every time that I played this guy, or even seen him play, and then there's either a Sky Tyrant or Scarab, or just someone that just had, you know, just a bunch of equipment out there, this guy always comes out, because, you know, Sky Tyrant's hitting twice, so you have 2 rolls to get this guy out. And then when he comes out, man, they have to deal with him, because if not, he's just going to be there and just doing either 11 attack pen or 12 for 5 close. That's crazy. And then, you know, if you're going to be playing bronze, or I'm sorry, if you're going to play silver, he's 100 points, which means he can call in a higher, you know, he can call in like Green Arrow or Blackwood or whatever, if you don't want to attack with him. But most, you're going to attack with him, I think, right? He's crazy. So, and because he has a 10 range, it doesn't matter if he comes on the edge of the map. As long as he sidesteps 2, you essentially have a 12 range, and you know that effectively hits the whole map, because whichever side they're on, you just pick the side that's closest to them if you want to be able to attack them. And he destroys blocking too, so it's not like they can stop him from getting to them. But this guy is something to look at. Basically in any competitive team that you have a prime slot open, you know, and this guy really makes it so that you have to really decide whether or not that prime you want to play is worth it over this guy, because I think this guy's amazing. So, all right, those are the 3. I already told you what I thought of Throg. So let me know what you think of the other applications for these guys. Man, with silver and bronze, there's so many more uses for these guys, I think. But I really like how they designed these 3 primes in this set. They've been getting really good at this with their primes recently. So, and I think the Disney Plus is no different too, because there's some really good stuff in there too at low points. So, all right, well, that's what I got. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Please like, subscribe, comment. And I'll be back with the starter set and the OP kit. All right. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.